Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. Let's talk about it. Tonight as the New York Knicks make another signing for the second consecutive day. Mook Morris is returning to the Mecca on a veteran minimum, Exhibit 9 deal, just the Landry Shamet one. Let's break it down with the chat in the biz. Leon Rose ain't playing around, adding more depth. Does it mean that another guy is on the out? We'll talk about that. Of course, all the questions you have, let's break it down. What does this signing mean overall? But I am buzzing, right? We all wanted Mook Morris back at some point, right? He adds a lot. I think experience, veteran depth, the enforcer role that we haven't had in a minute as well. Smash that like button. We've all got the Knicks streets buzzing, and Leon Rose has been cooking recently. But of course, we'll be talking about the center position as well right now, right? But power forward depth is important, fam. And welcome into the live chat. CT, your host here. Great to be with you, man. As we get closer to training camp, Leon Rose has really saved maybe some of these moves for right now, as free agency is basically winding up, and these veterans need a team, right? It happens every year, right? You see all these signings in a hurry right now. But what do you guys think of our two recent signings, right? We are the deepest team in the NBA. Man, I was actually thinking about it last night, right after the Landry Shamet move, and I was like, we're the deepest team. And then we go and add a Mook Morris the very next day. I mean, obviously we'll wait to see, we're going to talk about it tonight. Is there a trade on the horizon, right? It's a logjam. We're going to get the commentary and the reaction from the Knicks media as well. Steph Bondy does feel like, there could be a move. Fred Katz talking about it as well. But what's up, Jay, Will, Paula, the official payback, Howard and Luke C. Many blessings to everyone, Knicks Nation. The season's about to start and is heating up with all these signings, camp deals, Exhibit 10s, Exhibit 9s as well. The Knicks still have a little bit more room. But like Luke C says, maybe no room for rookies right now. It's going to be very tough for any of these situationals to get any minutes, guys, now with this extra depth. But Leon Rose saw what happened last season, and he said, it ain't happening again, right? It ain't happening on my watch in terms of bodies going down and, needing help towards the end. Now, we are so stacked at every position. Now, obviously, Mook Morris provides depth at the 4, right? Precious is most likely going to be playing a lot of minutes, if not all of his minutes, at the 5 spot. And so to have, an extra depth piece at the 4 is important. I do think key to Bates-Diop was a chance to be in a trade as well. So he was one of our own backup 4s, outside of a Josh Hart, a traditional 4. And he might be in a trade at some point. So that's why this Mook Morris trade signing does make a lot of sense, fam. And we'll talk about that and we'll get everyone's reaction too. But, I mean, overall, I got to give this a B+ right now. It has a chance to be an A. Obviously, there's going to be maybe some extra moving parts. We will wait and see. But as Fred Katz of The Athletic does say, fam, is that the Knicks will have some interesting camp battles given the names on non-guaranteed contracts. Landry Shamet, Okeke, now Mook Morris. Knicks only have one roster spot now open. So basically from the speculation is that Landry Shamet will stay on the roster, right? Yes, there are non-guaranteed contracts, but, there's a chance that they will stay. Yeah, high chance that they'll stay. Basically, they've just got to do what they need to do in training camp. I think Chuma Okeke was always going to find it difficult, but the Mook Morris and the Shamet one provide a little bit of extra offense, right? Mook is, not as nimble as he used to be, guys, but he's definitely a guy who can shoot it still. He's had a limited role on his, most recent teams, but I think he would fit this ball club really, really well fam. We all remember those moments that he gave us as a New York Knick. One of them on screen when he called his own number and he's like, I'm going to hit the game-winning shot on KP in Dallas on Luka. That was Kleber, actually. But yeah, Luka was there as part of the squad as well. You see Taj. Yeah, I mean, he definitely wore the jersey with pride when Mook Morris was playing with the New York Knicks. I mean, I'm kind of surprised because there was a little bit of talk about him going back to Philly, where he is from. But he was probably looking at Philly's roster, and they've got Drummond, they've got Embiid, and they've got a whole lot of other guys as well. And he might be thinking, look, there's probably no chance I'm going to get any minutes. But on the New York Knicks, with the power forward situation and the big man situation that it is with the Knicks, Mook Morris is probably looking at it like, I could get some minutes with the Knicks, and I saw what happened in the postseason with them, so I can help them out as well. So I love it, man. B+, I think it could be an A. Precious Achiuwa, as we know, is a real chance to be in a trade for Walker Kessler, for a big man. And then, after the pieces get moved, having an extra body that can play power forward is important as well. So guys, let us know your thoughts on this pickup too. So Exhibit 9, it is another Exhibit 9 deal. It was originally announced by Shams, right, 34 minutes ago. We are here live with the best chat in the biz, breaking it down and getting your thoughts. Right. Howard says we wait for Jericho until the December situation as well. Paula says, I like this signing. Many blessings to you. Wampbag Doodle says, nice move out of left field. It feels like the Knicks have a 20-man roster. LOL. Definitely, I think you can never have enough depth. We're trying to win a championship, and I know some of these pieces might not get as many minutes, and some people might be like, oh, why don't we get a center? We need that in the worst way. But just be patient. All these moves are lining up for the Knicks to strike. Right? Leon Rose knows what he is doing, and he's going to get the center that we need. Right? He's just not going to get any center. He's going to get the center that we need. Right? And all of these things are dominoes, fam. They are building up, and then they're all going to fall when the dominoes are stacked up, fam. And this is a huge signing, I feel, because obviously it's a precursor to something, right? We're pretty stacked, but we do need a little bit of depth with the 4 and the 5. And we wait for the trade season to begin. We'll wait for training camp, man. But we have Mook Morris back in the building too. He had some other viral moments. Remember, he did, smash the ball against the Washington player's head. He does bring that feistiness, man. He knows what it's all about to be in the trenches, and be in these deep battles, in the postseason as well. As it's been made official right now by the Knicks PR account, Mook Morris Sr. has been signed to an Exhibit 9 contract for the New York Knicks, right? So I really like these two moves, fam. I'm feeling it. I gave the Landry Shamet move a B, and I'm giving the Mook Morris pickup a B+, right? Right. Moves on the margins, nonetheless, but could be really important, down the stretch. Obviously, Bogdanovic was brought in. We didn't quite fill that role, as a sniper, kind of a bigger man off the bench. Could be third string, could be second string, but it's going to be great, man. It's going to be a lot of battles had in camp as well, and I'm really with it, guys. We need to protect the Garden at all costs, man. Protect Jalen Brunson, right? Protect Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, OG Anunoby. Back these guys up with solid talent so that when they go to the bench, there's decent talent that can come in and make an impact, right? Once again, no shade on Daquan Jeffries, Mamadi Diakite, right? Our bodies just weren't enough last season, right? And you want to go deep. You want to win it all this time. And we are building a squad around our starting 5, to really get busy and mix it up. Be physical, man. No one giving hard fouls to Jalen Brunson anymore. Nobody hip checking him. with some of these extra enforcers in the game, with Julius coming back, Mook Morris now as well. Guys, it's like a throwback. Larry in the chat says it's embarrassment of riches. Wow. Yep. I feel like we're the deepest team in the NBA now. You look at that graphic, fam. I mean, look at the second string lineup now. And if you even look at some of the situationals like campaign, Keita Bates-Diop, those guys could be rotation players on probably 25 NBA teams, if not more. And they are situational for us as well, right? Landry Shamet, Mook Morris might even be situational, I think, to start the season, too, guys. So I'm excited about it. I like these two pickups, and I do feel like it's setting the table for, possibly moving on from two of the other guys to get a center. Who are those guys? I think in particular order, I think obviously Precious Achiuwa is probably the top trade chip. I think at his salary, $6 million, to get a center in, together with possibly Keita Bates-Diop, possibly with a Cameron Payne. We'll wait and see, right, if teams really need a backup point guard as well. But yeah, there's a lot of names, and I think maybe Leon Rose might even pull this move off before the season begins, right? We'll wait and see. What do you guys think? Yeah, I see you, Howard. Give us your thoughts on this one. Simon says, even if we were to keep the roster as is, our bench is better than last season. 100% agree. And that was the aim for Leon Rose, to improve this roster even further, add more depth. We did lose Bogey. We lost Isaiah Hartenstein as well. We're weaker at the center spot, but we're so much stronger at all the other positions right now, from backup point guard to backup shooting guards and wings to backup power forward right now. Obviously, in an ideal world, we can get another center, and we do have Mook Morris that can play backup four together with Keita Bates-Diop if he's still here. I like that pickup. I like Keita Bates-Diop too. Howard says OG and Bridges are the top defenders in the NBA at their specific positions. Amen. I think that is definitely true, and I think know what our identity is right now. I mean, what does this say about the squad, the culture, and Tibbs? Right, there's been a lot of knocks and shade on players not wanting to come and play for Tibbs. Right, Mook Morris was here during some of the down years. Right, remember some of the down years with Fizdale. A lot of losing, but he could hold his head up high, because I think he really played hard. I think he was one of the bright spots for some of those years that he was with us, and now he wants to come back, right? So that's big for me. It might not mean something to some of others, but I think the fact that Mook Morris is a veteran minimum, gets to choose his destination carefully, and he wants to come back, man. He wants a taste of it once again, man. I think we gave him a lot of love, and he's rejected Cleveland, he's rejected offers from Philly, right, to come to the New York Knicks on an Exhibit 9 deal, right? Obviously, we've still got our $5.2 million exception to spend as well, guys. So that could be big in terms of waiting for the buyout market as well, and just exercising more patience, right? Possibly some more small ball on the horizon too. Would you guys be more likely to play some small ball, knowing that we've got a bit more insurance at the 4 spot? Let me know. I don't think it moves the needle in that regard with Tibbs, because I think he still likes the big man, the traditional big man at the 5. And obviously we've got Mitch, we've got Precious, who's not a traditional 5 but can hold us down for now. And then I think he's working hard behind the scenes to get that deal done. I think to get a center. I think the top 3 candidates are Walker Kessler and then Jonas Valanciunas, who will be available by January or December. And I think Walker Kessler's available right now. And then the other one could be a toss-up between Nick Richards or Jalen Duren. I don't think Time Lord is as realistic as some people have spoken about, but I do think that the other three and 4 are would fit nicely with this team. right? And Leon's just got to get it done, I think, right? Keep a hold of Deuce, right? If you can swing that trade for Walker Kessler for a 1 pick, maybe Precious, and you know, and the rest fill it out. I would be on board with that, but no more than 1 first. Jonas Valanciunas, I think similar. He's only making 10 million, so that deal could be made. I think it's very, very realistic. Yesterday I said keep an eye out on Detroit. Right, the Knicks have been fans of Jalen Duren for quite a while now. Right, he's kind of on thin ice with Detroit. You know, it's a make or break year for him. If there's a chance that the Knicks could be opportunistic and get Jalen Duren, I think we have a really good relationship with Detroit from previous trades and executives in the front offices, and I think that is something that's quite realistic as well. He would be a great signing for the future. He could back up Mitch for now, and then he could step in, you know, and blossom, I think, with this team. So the Knicks are stacking up their roster, fam. I believe it's the deepest roster in the NBA before this signing. Right now, it makes it even deeper, and it's at a position that we really need. So I graded a B plus. The Landry Shamet one was nice, but basically we didn't really need a player in that position, although he is good depth. But I think this Mook Morris one does fit the roster very, very nicely, fam, in terms of what we need moving ahead. Now, obviously, there's some speculation about the future of Julius Randle right now, but he's under contract. We're trying to win this season, and I don't think that a trade will happen this season. If it happens, it'll be later in the future. But I think this season's a make or break year for everyone. The front office wants to see how it all looks. You know, January was very successful, and it's tough to move on from any of the major pieces without seeing it. Too, James ain't a fan of the signing, fam. That's okay. I mean, not everyone's going to be feeling it, but you got to look at it at context. It's a veterans minimum signing. Alan says he is a tough guy. Yep. So it's an end of the bench veterans minimum signing. I don't see how you can be upset by it. We're not using any cap space. There is literally no other decent free agents out there. And James is a Nets fan, so that makes sense right now. Nets going to be enjoying the lottery this season as well. All the best to them in their future, but they've got a long way up. They've got a long way up to get to where the New York Knicks are right now, built to contend and built to win, and the deepest roster in the league right now. We're built to take down Boston. Not gonna lie, I think you need experience, guys. You know, not just depth, but you need that extra experience. Landry Shamet's been in deep playoff runs. Mook Morris has been around the league for he's probably into his, 11th, 12th season right now, maybe even more. And I'm going to look at Mook Morris's stats as well as we continue getting your comments in, and I continue to react to Leon Rose making back-to-back signings in 2 consecutive days, fam. So Mook Morris averaged 6.4 points per game with 16 minutes last season, 2.7 rebounds. He shot 44% from the field, and he shot 40% from 3. He shot 82% from the free throw and a 56% true shooting percentage as well. So limited minutes last season. Obviously, remember he was a part of the Emmanuel Quickley trade. The trade to the Clippers that netted the New York Knicks a draft pick at the deadline. So if you're wondering how it ended last time Mook Morris was with the New York Knicks, remember it was a mutual deal where he was happy to go to a contender. The Knicks weren't winning at that point, although he did enjoy his time with the New York Knicks, and he definitely stepped up. But yeah, that trade, man, that really helped the New York Knicks in their future. Man, Emmanuel Quickley, we drafted him with that pick. I remember Scott Perry had to, go back and forth with Steve Mills over whether or not to trade Mook Morris. I think Steve Mills wanted to keep Mook Morris, and I believe Scott Perry wanted the Knicks to make that trade to get that draft pick for the future. And I think it was ultimately a blessing because it got us a draft pick, a first round pick that the New York Knicks turned into Emmanuel Quickley, right? And then we all know the rest. The rest is history. Emmanuel Quickley was used in the trade to get OG Anunoby from the Toronto Raptors as well. And here we are. Mook Morris returns back to the Knicks on a veterans minimum deal, right? I like it. He's 6'8", 220 pounds. He's 35 now, got 13 years experience. And like I said, averaged 6.5 points, 17 minutes per game last season. Shot 40% from three, right? So he's been on a couple of teams recently. Cleveland, he's been on the Clippers. He's a bench guy at the moment, but he can step in. And he's ready. He's not going to be scared of no moment. He's going to be that vocal leader. He steps up, and he definitely his actions speak loud. I think for Mook Morris, he lets it fly. He can shoot. He can rebound the basketball as well at 6'8", too. So, look, when you're trying to contend, you're trying to build a roster to take down your Bostons, your OKCs, your Phillies, your Dallases, and your Minnesotas and Nuggets. Man, I like it. Stack the veteran depth because that's what's important. These young fellas can be patient. They can wait, and bide their time. Specifically when you're talking about, your Tyler Koleks, your Kevin McCullers as well, who I thought maybe there was a chance he could get some situational minutes if he's healthy, but not right now, fam. We've got 3 quality reserves in the 3 to 4 quality reserves in the front court, and we've got 3 to 5 quality reserves in the back court as well in the reserve. So I want to see Tibbs rotate the squad, and definitely be mindful of the marathon season, right? Tay Max says, wow, nice signing, right? He got us IQ, let's go. Michael Drake likes it as well. It's amazing. D. Grant says Marcus is 35. Yep. Paula says, I remember that trade as well. Yep. So, yeah, in terms of what it's setting up, D. Grant, yeah, this move is going to help set up the trade to get a center in. There's no doubt in my mind where the New York Knicks are headed, where Leon Rose is headed next. It's to make that trade for the center, right? We brought in Landry Shamet. Does that mean that there is a backcourt player on the way out as part of a trade? We brought in Mook Morris now. Does that mean that there is a front court player included together with the backcourt player for a trade for a center, right? Right. You got to give up to get. You got to give up to get something as well. See, all these signings on the veteran minimums are free, basically. It ain't our money and it ain't cap space. It's free signings. So we're adding talent in the margins as depth, and so that the New York Knicks can then swing a trade with someone else to bring in what we need right now. So don't worry that we haven't signed a center yet. This Mook Morris and Shamet move, it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan. I think the dominoes are falling right now. AC says, wow, solid backup for Julius. I think one of the backups, but he might not be the preferred backup. But he's going to be there. If a guy gets injured, he will step up to the next, line and be ready, I think. Experienced body. He's not going to play more than 20 minutes or something, but he's a guy that could give you minutes, in the postseason, right? If there's an injury, I think he'll help you through the regular season as well, right? If there's back-to-backs, if there's a blowout, and you want to put some players on the court that can do the job and close the game out, and so that we can rest the other guys. I think that's really important. We're going to get through the 82-game season. I think Jalen Duren, D. Grant, he is a target. I think the New York Knicks like Jalen Duren. He might not be maybe top 2 or 3 of their targets, but I think he is a guy they're definitely monitoring moving forward. Shesvy says, I love Morris back in the day. Yeah, OGs, definitely. I think he'll appreciate coming back, and that's why he's signed with the New York Knicks, fam. As a lot of guys are reacting and weighing in. Get your comments in. Please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And we've got a great season ahead of fun New York Knicks basketball, man. The time is now for us, right, to go all the way, fam, and climb the top of the mountain finally. And the front office is making really smart moves. Yes, the Landry Shamet one and the Moot Morris one are singles, right? Maybe doubles. They're not home runs, but they're lining the chips up, I think, to strike right now. And we're deeper than Philly. I think we are. Corey Peace, salute. I like the pickup. User says, I always wanted Morris back in the day and gave up on the idea. Yeah, it's interesting how things come full circle, fam. Like we talked about, he was traded in the Quickly deal, or the deal to get a draft pick to take Quickly, and he's returned. We talked about Moot Morris a lot in our off-season content, but one reason why I didn't feel it was likely is because there was already rumors linking him to Cleveland and to Philly, 2 of his more recent stops. But what has me feeling good about why he's returned is because, one, he wanted to return, obviously. He liked being a New York Knick before. But I think Leon Rose or the front office has obviously communicated something to his agent, to him, communicated a role, whether it be a role as the enforcer, whether it be, hey, we need you on the bench in case there's injuries. You're going to get an opportunity to step up if there's an injury, right? That's all a player needs to hear. What is my role going to be? I want to be in the Knicks. I want to be in New York. But what is my role going to be, right? And I think the New York Knicks probably did a great job, of communicating a role for him. They probably even said there could be a trade. Your minutes could increase. Your role might increase if there's a trade on the horizon. But it is obviously a Exhibit 9 deal. It's unguaranteed. So it's highly tradable as well. So that is the other side of the spectrum, fam. So the Landry Shamet move, as I bring it up, and the Moot Morris move, right? They're both on Exhibit 9s, so they're non-guaranteed, and they stay non-guaranteed until January. So that's very, very trade-friendly in terms of us needing to shed some of that in a package, and then the other team can then just keep them or cut them as well. So whichever way you look at it, it's setting the table up for the Knicks to strike a trade and to keep some of these guys and to maybe move on from some of these guys as well. And I feel like the most likely candidate is obviously Precious Achiuwa, right? You trade him with whatever it takes to get a proper 5, and then Moot Morris stays as as insurance for a 4 spot. I think that's what's the most likely. There is a world where Precious Achiuwa absolutely takes his opportunity and shows that he is a guy that we need to keep. And then things might get real interesting in terms of who else we could trade. But if that's the case, if Precious shows that he's the right backup for us at the 5 and that he can do the job, he'll stay. I think that's all part of Leon's plan, is to see how things look in the preseason. What's up, Del Mar? It says, I like Morris actually as the enforcer. Yeah, me too. He gets it now. He's obviously a little bit more mature. He's 35, and he's been here before, so he knows the pressure. He knows what it's all about. So I think he's not going to lose his cool, but he's going to be there in case someone tries some funny stuff, right? Don't forget, someone, in Philly, Joel Embiid, trying some dirty stuff, and also Indiana did try some dirty stuff on Jalen Brunson as well. That's not going to fly anymore with Moot Morris and Julius Randle on the squad, right? So we got our enforcer role. That's a tick. that's definitely a tick. Shesvi says, who was it that kept Shamit from coming to New York some years back? I couldn't tell you, fam, but I'd love to know. AC says, a season cannot start soon enough. CT, it's an amazing time to be a Knicks fan. We are that team. 100%. I love what you said. And I think there's just no reason to not be excited about what this team can be, man. Head to head against Boston. Bring it on, man. Opening night. We've got these big games to start the season as well. We've got a big national TV preseason game against Minnesota. That's the only competitive preseason game for us, but I think it's perfect because it's the third game in. We'll already have a warm-up against the Hornets and the Wiz, and then we'll get to play our proper rotation, I think, against Minnesota. And then we conclude preseason against Charlotte at MSG, and then Charlotte, and then Washington away, and then Boston away, Indiana at home, Cleveland at home, and then Miami away. Well, what a start to the season, man. It's going to be those first 4 games. It's going to be like early playoff kind of intensity, I feel. Yeah, appreciate you, Delmar, as well. I'm glad you enjoy the content, and it's great to have you here. Paul says that we have Mook back. Good move. Yeah, I like it. Johnny, cheers, CT. Mook brings us the Knicks culture, the 3 threat, enforcement, and Tibbs familiarity. Good move to shore up the bench and overall team defense. Yeah, you guys are echoing the thoughts as well, fam. Good minds think alike. But where we are right now, guys, is like, I remember those years where, the Knicks weren't competitive, we weren't winning, and I was always looking at other teams signing, good veteran talent. And I was like, man, one day I want to be that team where we've got no cap space left, but a player that's decent chooses to go to my team. And here we are now, fam, where, Shamit had options. He could have gone to other teams, but he came here. There might even be a limited role, and he still chose to come here. Same with Mook now as well. There's probably not a whole heap of minutes around for him on any team in the NBA, but I think the fact that he still chose the Knicks, he would have had other options, no doubt about it. He could have gone back to LA, to the Clippers. I'm pretty sure, he was there before. Everyone likes it out in LA, good weather, good opportunities off the court, all of those things as well. But New York City is exactly the same in terms of opportunity, right? If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And I think, he's obviously liked his time as the Knicks before, as a Knick. The fans showed him a lot of love. I know the coaching wasn't great at that point, but yeah, he wants to do it all over again. And I like it. Now, I think Julius Randle, correct me if I'm wrong, but Julius Randle was also on the team, I think, that year. That Mook was here, or it might have been the year after. My memory's kind of freezing up on me right now. But, I remember we did trade for all those power forwards. We did get Taj, we got Bobby Portis, we got Mook Morris as well. And there just wasn't the ideal role for Morris at that point, but it was a nice trade, I think, that we made. I think it was smart. JT corrects and says no, it was the same year. Yep, appreciate you, man. So yeah, I think that was the 4 power forwards that we signed, and everyone was trying to clown us when we signed Julius, Taj, Bobby, and Mook. Yeah, and that was the year where we won some really good games, and we were a chippy team. This highlight brings back a lot of memories too. National TV game, that was early in the season. We were like, let's go, we might do something this season. But yeah, Mook's not a stranger to danger. He likes the big shots. He likes having his number called, but I think this will be a different role for him right now. He's 35, but he could still shoot. He's still got some skills for a power forward as well. but he'll bring the physicality, he'll bring toughness. I think that's what's really important, fam. Billy Goat says, we loaded, let's get this chip. Amen. Yeah, JT always remembers the Dallas game as well. I remember the game against Washington as well, man. Against the guy when he bounced the ball off his head as well. Roberto says, love the team. Paula says, yeah, they made fun of us at that point, ESPN. Yeah. I could see what the Knicks front office was doing then. There was some talent available. They just happened to be in the power forward spot, so he snapped them all up. But, again, if we do our revisionist history, we ended up trading Mook Morris to get quickly. So it was a smart move what the Knicks did in the end, right? Julius Randle is still here, and he's a 2-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Star, and he's, continued on the rebuild and the culture to building a winner right here. So that was a tick. Mook Morris signing was a tick because we flipped him to get a good asset. Taj Gibson stayed for a minute as well. He fulfilled his role with the New York Knicks. And then maybe you could say Bobby Portis was maybe the unnecessary one. But, I think Bobby ended up getting traded as well. I think Bobby Portis was in that trade too. I don't remember him just walking. Or maybe he did serve his 2 years and then he walked with Bobby Portis. But I think, at the end of the day, I think some of those signings make more sense right now. It's funny how people do overreact a bit. Richard says they have players that play hard. It will help us in practice better every day. Work hard, game day, gameplay as well. Great point, man. I want to echo what you said about that because Tibbs loves setting the table. He loves the professionalism, practice, off days, all of that. Build those same winning habits when it comes to to preaching and letting your actions speak. Right now, like I said, Mook's he's done a little circle around the league. He's come full circle, but now, he wants to be on a winning situation, and he wants an opportunity maybe where he can play some spot minutes. And I think we could possibly do that if we make a trade as well. Ari, great to see you in here as well. Let us know your thoughts. I think we're the deepest team in the NBA. I think there was already some high-level conversations about it with the media, about the Knicks, being extremely poised to contend and deep. But these last two signings in the last couple of days, it definitely does set the table for, for extra insurance if anyone goes down, if anyone gets traded, and just playing at a higher intensity. Like you said, practice games are going to be real high intensity, and also, every single game we're going to bring it, man. Back-to-backs, start of the season, make a statement against these teams, right? I don't know what I've been thinking right now, because Philly may have extended an offer to Mook to join them, and he's gone and turned his back and joined the New York Knicks, arguably their biggest rival right now, to take down Boston. So here we are. Mook Morris has chosen us over the New York Knicks, over Philadelphia, and Andre Drummond turned down the New York Knicks to join Philadelphia. So there's going to be a bit of, some heated moments, I think, against both teams once again. Bring it on as well. Obviously, there's that talk now that Philly might be moving to New Jersey. What do you guys think about that further? Does that enhance the New York Knicks-Philly rivalry if Philly does move to Jersey? Sobro number one says, every chip contender needs an enforcer. Great signing in bringing in Morris back as well. Agent salute. Mars Jetson says, Ian Begley saying they look at Morris like a 4-5 combo. Only one roster spot between Okeke, Shamet, and Morris as well. That is interesting, fam. So I've said it when it happened. I think the Chuma Okeke one was to do a solid for him and his agent, give him a spotlight, give him an opportunity to maybe play preseason and, and showcase himself to the rest of the league. And I never thought that Chuma Akiki was going to make this squad, fam. But it's interesting what they're saying about the other two, because I was thinking that there is room for these guys, fam. So you've got Hukporti, McCullough, and you've got Jake Toppin on the two-way, so they don't count, right? You can still have 15 guys on top of those three as well. So in terms of the other 15 guys on real roster spots right now, you've got Jericho, you've got Keita Bates-Diop, number 2, you got Cam Payne, number 3, you got Tyler Kolek, number 4, and you've got Pacome Dadier, number 5, right? Then you've got the starting 5, that makes it 10. Right, okay, so yeah, that means the 6 guys in the second string out of Landry Shamet and Mook Morris, right? There might only be one spot for those guys to officially make the final spot, deciding that there's no trade, right? Well, depending if there isn't any trade, which I think there is most likely going to be, right? So that is interesting, right? Jericho Sims' contract recently got fully guaranteed, right? So I don't think he's going to be no easy cut. Now, he could still be in a trade. Keita Bates-Diop's contract is fully guaranteed as well, right? So those guys aren't just going to be able to be cut. Cam Payne, right, he's fully guaranteed as well. I think, he's close to Mikal Bridges, so I think he's going to be staying as well, right? So Pacome Dadier, obviously now he's taken up a full roster spot, right? And same with Kolek. So, yeah, it really is up to a trade or Mook Morris or Landry Shamet. One of them doesn't make it. So there is a little bit of a squeeze right now, and a decision needs to be made, fam. I don't think Akiki is going to make it. So it looks like we may have to cut the numbers down by 1. And I think the easiest way to do that is just to bring a 2-for-1 trade, fam. Just do a 2-for-1. Whether it's Precious and Bates-Diop, whether it's Precious and Sims, and you get yourself a proper centre, a traditional centre. What do you guys think to that? Hamilton says good addition. Agent says 177's rocking with us in the chat. And 35 likes. Please get them likes up, fam. Smash those likes. We've got the Knicks streets buzzing. The motivational tap-in says the Knicks didn't pick up Bobby Portis' team option. He would have received like 15 milli. Okay, that's right. Yeah, we did give him a 2-year deal with a team option, I remember. Marvin says Marcus Morris. Is it true? It is true, fam. It's an unguaranteed deal right now. But he's definitely, a guy like E. Garcia says we needed a dude that can be that attitude, be the enforcer on this squad. I think he's definitely going to bring it in practice and training as well, bring in that mindset. I like guys that have left the New York Knicks but want to come back, and obviously it needs to be mutual. If they did enjoy the experience and they want to come back now, but they were good for us, then that's good, I think Mook Morris he's seen the grass on the other side, and he's been with Cleveland, he's been with LA, and he wants to come back to the New York Knicks and win, be part of, a squad to help you win a championship as well. Like Fred Katz is saying too, the camp battles are going to be huge. Obviously now only, Landry Shamet or Mook Morris can make the roster. Only one of them can make it, provided that there isn't a trade. There isn't a trade already on the horizon. We'll wait and see. I'm leaning more towards that there is going to be another move now, fam, because whilst the contract says they can be cut, I don't think Landry Shamet and Mook Morris bother wasting their time at their age and their situation. I don't think they bother wasting their time saying I'm signing with the Knicks on a camp deal if there's a high chance that they get cut, right? What is that going to look like for them? That's just going to waste time. They could just choose another team that they know that they're going to stay on. So what that does to me, that tells me that Leon Rose is currently working on a trade, and he said, look, we can't officially guarantee your deal right yet until we remove a number from the roster. So I think Leon Rose is probably working on a trade right now, and then it might be a 2-for-1, so that Landry Shamet and Mook Morris can both stay. What do you guys think about that? Man, I can't wait to see these scrimmages and for preseason as well. I don't think Mitchell Robinson will factor in a whole lot into preseason. From what I'm seeing, I think, obviously you want to allow him as much possible time, and you don't want him to pick anything up. He's so important for us right now. That's one of the reasons why Leon Rose is, working on this big trade right now. Marvin says Marcus is 6'9", still decent size for the center spot. Altango says salute. I absolutely agree with the Morris pickup. Good pickup here. Paula wants Morris here as well. Yeah, I really want Morris and Landry Shamet to both stay now. If we're trying to win a chip, it is important that those guys they're guys that can play. They're not fringe NBA talent, or they're not rookies that are going to be shook in the postseason, right? Let's rewind a bit to the Indiana series, fam. And we're not going to dwell on it because we know how it ended. But if we had a guy like a Landry Shamet, for example, or if we had a Mook Morris on the roster back then for that Indiana series, how much would that have helped us? Right? You tell me. How much would that have helped the New York Knicks, right? You wouldn't have had Pascal Siakam backing down Josh Hart in the paint, right? We would have had a Mook Morris out there to be able to help. Landry Shamet as well. We literally had Dante DiVincenzo cramp up. He was on his last leg, in that game as well. Him and Alec Burks were trying to carry us. And then, Bogey goes down. You have a Landry Shamet who can come in and fill in that void and score. So I think that's exactly what the vision is, what Leon Rose is doing right now. He's signing vets on the margins who can step up, right? We may not need them right now, but, if stuff hits the fan, then we know that they can give us more too. So yeah, I think a trade is on the horizon, fam. It could be sooner rather than later. DN says, oh man, I got a feeling Tibbs is going to trade Precious no matter how well he plays. One thing's for sure, man, for us to bring in that center that we need, someone has to go. It's tough because obviously I like all our guys. I really like what they can bring. It's just about making an upgrade. If you can make an upgrade where you can, you got to do it for the sake of the rest of the guys, for the sake of winning, for the sake of this season and for us. Somebody may have to go. But yeah, I think guys are going to get an opportunity. I say that. And I do say that Precious chose to take the New York Knicks offer. He chose knowing the situation. He chose $6 million. It was above what was available, I think. So he's getting paid well this season. He gets to start the season with the New York Knicks. And then we'll figure it out along the way. But yeah, something's telling me that the fact that these two deals today, that the fact that they're unguaranteed camp deals is letting me know that, with only one roster spot available, why would they waste their time competing for a spot? They're not at that stage of their careers. So that's telling me that Leon Rose is saying, look, here's the deal, unguaranteed for right now. Come to New York and we're going to figure it out and open up a roster spot. We're most likely going to be pulling off a trade, maybe a 2-for-1. And that'll open up the situation for you as well. And look, if you read between the lines, if Precious does get traded, we lose a power forward technically as well. And that the fact that we've signed Mook Morris now, he's a power forward. So yeah. Benjamin says Deuce and Precious have value. They've got Deuce McBride has a lot of value with that situation. I know Danny Ainge is going to be asking for Deuce in a Walker Kessler deal. I think you could get a Nick Richards deal done without Deuce. You include Precious. I think you could still do a Jonas Valanciunas deal if you're willing to wait until the trade season without including Deuce as well. I think it just depends on what kind of guy the Knicks want to go for as well. We talked about Portland yesterday, guys. They've got 4 centers. They've got Donovan Clingan that they drafted. They've got DeAndre Ayton. They've got Time Lord Robert Williams. And they've got Duop Reith, who I really like as well, on the cheap. Something's got to give with Portland. I think the Knicks and Portland do have a pretty decent relationship. Don't forget we did trade them to Cam. We did trade Cam Reddish, and we did get Josh Hart. So look for situations where the Knicks and the other ball club has had a relationship. I think with trades. Also, it is easier to trade with a team that's not very good. We have different interests right now. Portland is trying to shed some assets and build for the future, and the Knicks are trying to take on some assets, I think, to help us for the now. I think the Duop Reith one would be good for the margins, but obviously Time Lord would be a whole bigger deal that is going to probably need to include Mitch or Deuce, right? Just because he's making so much money right now. So yeah, we've got moves now. We've got the deepest roster in the NBA, but we're going to move. I think we're going to move a piece or two to solidify the center spot, right? Don't forget, the Knicks are closer to the situation of Mitch's health than anyone. They know the medicals, they know what the risk reward is going to be, not, bolstering that position to start the season, right? If Mitch is under an injury cloud to start the season, I think that might move the timeline forward for a trade. That's just my thinking, right now, because if there is a peace of mind that Mitch is going to be healthy to start the season, then that doesn't make things as desperate right now. I think we could start the season and see how everything looks, see how Sims and the other guys look in preseason. But yeah, if there's a chance that Mitch ain't healthy to start the season, then that is gonna, I think, make Leon Rose, I think, be a bit more aggressive with how everything's playing out. So I think Mook Morris's, true position is the 4, right? He's not really a rim protector that Tibbs likes. He can rebound, he can shoot. But I think, the Knicks look at Mook Morris as a 4, not a 5, in my opinion. I don't really see him playing a whole lot of center for me, fam. So I don't think the Knicks are thinking of Mook playing any minutes at the 5. I think it's all about him being a backup at the 4 for Precious, if Precious is at the 5 or if Precious gets traded right now. Salute Prezi. I'm not the biggest fan of Nick Richards. I think he would obviously make our situation a bit more steady. And if that's the best move, then so be it. But I think the Knicks will be looking at other names as well, too. Trey says, look at the trade packages New York can offer, though, with the signings they've made outside of the core in terms of Payne, Shamet, Mook, Precious, Diop, and Okeke as well. It does give us a lot of flexibility, man. Definitely. It's good to sign free talent. Like I said, with Shamet and Mook, it is free. You just use a veteran minimum, and then you could trade one of them if you need after the season begins. Now, you can't combine minimum salaries, unfortunately. So here's what the Knicks can do. They can include Precious Achiuwa, because he's on $6 million. It's not a minimum. They can include him with someone else, with one more minimum salary, with Bates-Diop. They could include Precious together with a Jericho, or they could include him together with Cameron Payne. But they can't include Shamet, Mook Morris, Cameron Payne, and all those guys together, unfortunately. So hope you understand how it works. You can only include one minimum salary with non-minimum salaries as well. So that could be the reason, and it is largely speculated the reason why the Knicks brought Precious back for $6 million, because it helps him, obviously financially, but it helps the potential trade. It helps to grease the wheels for a trade as well. And he probably knows the situation. It is what it is. Precious had a great opportunity with us. He made a deep playoff run. His stock around the league has gone up more than it was with Miami, and more than it was with the Raptors. So, and he definitely can hold his head up high. He stepped up in a major way, and I think he's got a bright future in the league. It might be with us, it might not, but I think what the aim was before the last few days, I was thinking that the aim was to bring everyone in to start the season, see what Precious is as the backup. But right now, Mitch's health cloud could be the main concern in terms of getting things done sooner, getting these veterans in right now, fast forward the trade to get someone in before the season begins. It is a wild start to the season, guys. Well, you can't take these games for granted. When we look at the start of the season, Boston away, Indiana and Cleveland, and then Miami. And then I do think we face, right after Miami, we face a couple of games, Detroit, Houston. So yeah, things do ease up a little bit in November at the start. But yeah, the first 4 games are tough. And yeah, November we have the big West Coast trip. Phoenix, Utah, Denver, and Dallas as well. So, yeah, we want to get off to a good start. We don't want to be relying on players that aren't ready. We don't want to be relying on players that aren't healthy as well. David says they never should have traded him in the first round. Salute, Will. Let us know your thoughts on this pickup. It's 2024. Mook Morris is a Knick again. Emmanuel Quickley is not. Mook is our kind of guy, says Will. Yeah, it's amazing how the situations change, Back when we were younger and we were building, Quickley was the guy. But right now, we're trying to win the NBA championship, and Mook Morris is our guy. He can do some things that we really, really need. I like this move from Josh Hart's perspective, right? We all don't want to see Josh Hart play the 4, right? Who was a legit option to be a traditional power forward and rebound, box out, be a physical force in the paint, right? We love Josh Hart's rebounding, but that ain't him, right? He's not going to be able to bang for 82 playing at the 4 spot. Precious is a guy that we need at the 5, so we can't afford to, be cute and be playing him at the 4 when we need his availability desperately at the 5. So this signing of Mook Morris from their both perspectives as well, it makes sense. This one makes a lot more sense to me than the Landry Shamet one as well. But again, the Landry Shamet one might make sense tomorrow if we find out that a guard has been traded. Lamont says Mook. Let's go, Josh. Uncle Folio, great to see you. Josh says, I love this move for the training camp roster. It's about time this team had that enforcer to not only hold opponents in line, but teammates also accountable as well. Yeah, 100% agree with Josh on that one. We've needed that enforcer for a minute. I mentioned 2 situations in the postseason against Philly, where Joel Embiid was trying his, antics, and also against Indiana when they were overly physical with Jalen Brunson, and we were missing Julius Randle, of course. So we add Mook and his, presence to this team, but we also get Julius Randle's presence back as well. So I think those 2 together, the OGs back from 2019, the familiarity of those 2, is going to be important too. Howard, I'm going to be doing, the next show is going to be Jalen Brunson season preview, and we're going to be doing his player analysis for the next show, fam, and that'll be, in the next few days. That'll be in the next few days, our show, our preseason preview will continue, and this player spotlight will be Jalen Brunson up next. We did Julius Randle already. Check that out if you haven't already. Yeah, Mook Morris is 35, so he's not going to be playing huge minutes. He's going to be here for his presence on the, on the team, on the court, off the court, and all those things. But yeah, he's going to be in a more limited role. But look, somebody has to take a step back, because there's a lot of mouths to feed on this roster, on this squad, as there always is on a deep team, right? Salute Mike. New Lord says Mook in decline. You don't want him on the floor. Yeah, I don't think we'll be depending on him as much, but I do think he's insurance that we really need. Some toughness as well. Unconscious Zone says blockbuster by deadline, definitely incoming. I don't know if it's going to be a blockbuster, but it's definitely going to be a significant move, right? Yesterday I speculated there is a real chance Mitchell Robinson, this could be his final year with the Knicks, right? Health permitting, depending on what trades are out there. Because I think long term we are built to go on a deep run, not just this season, but over the next 5 seasons. And knowing the Knicks, they think ahead. They think about the future a lot, right? And we need a guy that we can depend upon that's healthy, right? No one's questioning Mitch's talent or Mitch's output helping this team. It's simply about availability. And I think Precious, he showed us a really, a good stretch, but we need to see more. We need to see it for a longer period. Can he do that this season? Can Precious Achiuwa show that he is the guy for the long term? There is a possibility. That's why I think Leon Rose is kind of held back on making a big swing. Because if he really wanted to, Walker Kessler would be a Knick, I think. That deal could have been done if the Knicks were willing to trade 2 first-round draft picks and Deuce McBride and another good piece. But that price was too steep. That price was too much to pay. So I think Leon Rose has kind of said, let's continue to build this roster from the ground up, around the margins, around the star 5. And I think he's continuing to see what is out there, and I think we'll be looking at offers in Portland, obviously Utah, the Washington Wizards, and Detroit, with Duran, and Charlotte with Nick Richards, I think, as well. Unfortunately, there isn't a needle mover available, on the veteran. We would have done that, if they thought Bismack Biyombo, if they thought that JaVale McGee was who we need, they would have done that. They would have done that move way back. So here we go. I agree with it. I don't think those guys are really going to help us a lot. That they'll be kind of like break glass in case of critical emergency. For me, I would rather a younger leg, a younger body in Precious, Mitchell Robinson, and roll the dice with Jericho. But as Marta says, the Knicks are stacked now. Yeah, absolutely. I think we're the deepest team in the league, which is funny because we still really need a center option. But I think everywhere else we're the deepest. But a guy who I'm high on, and don't sleep on Ariel Hukporti, because just wait and see. Wait and see what happens in preseason. See if he can get some minutes in camp, an opportunity. Because he's 22, right? He's had number of years in a pro experience league. He's not coming out of college. So a lot of people are discounting the Ariel Hukporti experience on this team. Yes, he did some summer league things, but he's not coming out of college. He's not the 58th pick that's coming out of college. He's had 4 years of a pro career. So I think he's a big body, and he rebounds, he protects the rim. He could be a bigger factor than some people think, right? We need to see him up against real NBA talent and see if he's up to it. But I'm just someone who wouldn't be surprised if you hear his name a lot more, in terms of what the Knicks are thinking. Because, they're in the practice facility. He's been there since being drafted. He's been working out with Tyler Kolek, with Daddy A. He's been there since draft basically since draft week in summer league. And here's a guy that we currently have that people aren't, some people are not factoring in. Now, I know a lot of people look at the final draft pick in the draft as Mr. Irrelevant. Most of those guys are out of college and they're not going to be a factor at all. But I think Jericho Sims did get some minutes early in his career, right, as the 58th pick. And he was out of college. Ariel Hukporti is out of a pro league for 4 years. So, he came up in Germany with Isaiah Hartenstein. I think those guys have kind of worked out together as well. Isaiah has kind of helped him with some tips on how to succeed. Let's see how he looks. But he is young, like New Lord says, but he is 22 as well. He's 4 years younger than Jericho, and I think he might be one to look at for the future. User says Hukporti and Sims should get a lot of minutes at the 5. Yep. Taking away Precious, fam, they are traditional 5s. Nobody can take that away. They are real 5s. You need someone who is big, someone who can rebound, and someone who sets good screens and can roll hard to the bucket. So those are our options right now. I don't think they're really bad options. It's just, can we make an upgrade? Knicks 25 Champs also says, don't be surprised if Hukporti turns out. Salute Cardiac Knicks. Salute. Formerly Bricks Nation. Yeah, I thought so, fam. Got the name change since we got shooters now. Nice one, fam. Always got to evolve. Cardiac Knicks, formerly Bricks Nation. Trey says our season may be riding on the maturity of Jericho. His play will be the difference maker. Yeah, I think he's got a good chance, man. He's 26, but Jericho, he's been underwhelming. But I think, at 26, you are entering your prime, and give the guy a shot. He has a shot in camp. And I think, if he balls out, he'll take that chance. And he will, be a factor this season, right? Like I said, he's 6'10", 6'11". He's got more size on Precious. Where I think the two differences is I think Precious is a better defensive player. Jericho Sims has better physical tools to be what we need in terms of his size and setting screens and rebounding. Unfortunately, he's not a better defender than Precious is right now, but he has the chance. But this could be his final chance. This could be the final year because of his contract, fam. Jericho Sims' final year of his deal is coming up this season, right? So we badly need a center. So, you connect the dots. If we badly need a center and he's in his final year of his deal and doesn't take this opportunity, then I think the writing will be on the wall for Jericho, fam. But I do think, the buck stops with Mitch. Obviously, his health to start the year. Precious, we know, can fulfill a backup role and know that he can do it solid. It's just going to be a situation to watch because I don't fear a lot of bigs around the league. Like if you look at Boston, their bigs, they play out on the perimeter. They're not going to beast you in the paint like a Jokic or a Sabonis. They're not going to do that to us. So how many bigs out east, fam, that are you worried about at all? Does anyone in the East in the big man spot worry you outside of maybe Philly? But we also know we have Philly's kryptonite when it comes to our specific matchup of Joel Embiid, and that is Mitch and that is OG. We definitely put the clamps late in the series against Philly, and basically Tyrese Maxey had to carry that squad. New Lord says, I like Scap and Sev over Hukporti. He seemed to be more skilled. Al Tango says, I think Hulk P is going to surprise a lot of people. This is why we're not panicking right now. Yep, you guys could be onto something. I think they like Scap and Sev's skill set, but unfortunately I don't think he's a Tibbs kind of center. iHeart had that kind of touch. He had the skill set that Skapensev had, but he had the ruggedness to add. He had the rebounding and the defense. Skapensev, unfortunately, only has one of those things. He's got the touch, but he's not a great rebounder. He's not rugged. He's not a rim protector, I think. And so with Hukporti, that is his strength. He is a chance to maybe impress. We'll see. But I'm cautiously optimistic where it lies with Hukporti, because we haven't seen him against good NBA opponents yet. I've seen him in the NBL. I've seen him in Germany. And obviously it's a different level of talent. It's a different competition level. But I do know that he can do well playing the center. You know, he can rebound really well. And that's why the Knicks drafted Hukporti, right? He's physical. He's really tough to move. Like, he's one skill that I know, if you put him on the NBA floor, he will rebound. And that's what Tibbs loves. So we'll wait and see on that. Dwayne also says, yeah, he's a sleeper as well. Definitely better than Sims. More aggressive, better defender and finisher. He's a bruiser. Don't sleep. Yep. I'm glad you agree. But yeah, I think, you know, Hukporti might have a chance to surprise some people. He might show that he's just not ready yet. But I think he's one to look at for the future. And I think it was a nice little steal that the Knicks got overall. I mean, what do we really need out of the center spot? We don't really need a takeover guy that's going to score, 20 points a night. We just need a guy that's going to mop up, box out, command the paint, set good screens, roll hard, and be that, a vocal last line of defense. Be really vocal, command the paint, like I said, and just rebound a bit. Everything that Mitch can do. Basically, if Sims and Hukporti and Precious can work on those sides of their games for the preseason, we might be okay. We'll see. But I'm still looking at why Mook Morris and Landry Shamet are both signed unguaranteed deals, and one of them inevitably is going to have to get cut. So to me, that doesn't make as much sense unless there's another move coming. That's just how I feel about it. But, I mean, could be 3 days in a row where we get some significant news, fam. Camp is about to start. And I think they don't want all these distractions, fam, as we get ready to wrap this one up, fam, with the best chat in the biz. And we continue our off-season content and previewing the season. But with training camp, right? With training camp set to begin in just a few weeks, sorry. We don't want too much distraction, I think, once camp started. So that's why we're seeing these dominoes fall with these signings right now. Mook Morris and Landry Shamet. And I do think if there is a center move that's going to happen, or another trade, right? Like, they'll want to do it now before training camp even begins, so that they can get everyone in the building, they can get acclimatized, and they can start practicing all together, fam. So that is where it's at. But I love the move. I give it a B+. Makes a lot of sense for me, and I do think that these two guys will be staying. All right, I will be surprised if Shamet or Mook Morris gets cut. I think Akiki will get cut, but the Knicks will need to make one more cut, right? And I think it'll be maybe a 2-for-1 trade, because otherwise, why would Mook Morris waste his time, right? He could have just signed with Cleveland or Philly, right? Signing an unguaranteed deal for him, a camp deal at 35 years old, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And Landry Shamet had other offers as well. And Stephen Bondi's already reporting that it's basically understood that Landry Shamet will be making the final roster. So if you look at all those things, guys, connect the dots, man. Buckle up, because it's going to be a busy, I think, next few weeks. And then obviously when camp starts, man, it'll be on basically for the season. Full steam ahead. Guys, shout out to the chat. Shout out Replay Squad as well. Appreciate all your comments and thoughts on this pickup and the news over the last few days. And like I said, the next show will be previewing the season of Jalen Brunson, the captain. well, what an off season it's been for him and for the New York Knicks. But man, there's no sleep to be had because this season is going to be huge, and I look forward to chopping it up with everyone on the next one. Hopefully we have some breaking news very soon, some more breaking news, but we're running deep this season, man. We're taking mob deep to another level with our current squad, right? We're having to make decisions to cut dudes that I think deserve to be on the team. So that is where it's at right now. We're having to sign and cut veterans to make it all fit right now, but it's better to be, it's better to have more than less. Look at it that way, fam. Right? Would you rather more food or less food? Right? That way you've got options too. And salute to Prezi, Unconscious Zone, Trey, Howard, Cardiac Knicks, formerly Bricks Nation, New Lord, DN, everyone else that's contributed to the live stream. Johnny, salute. Dirk, what's up? Hamilton, we have some Nets fans as well. Dwayne as well. We've got some Nets fans. James with us as well. He's a closet Knicks fan, right? The Nets aren't producing any content. Nets fans have to join us, fam. Like a little stepbrother. You know, because they haven't got the streets buzzing. They're the Nets fans, right? Salute user, Mark. And everyone else that I might have missed. Apologies, but let's go. Knicks Nation up in here heavy. And I will see you soon, fam. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace.